All right, guys, so I wanted to react to this little video here of JD Vance before the debate. I don't know if he's maybe entering backstage the area to prepare for it, or maybe at some type, it looks like maybe a hotel actually, before the debate the night before. You've got leftists and some reporter coming up to JD Vance, berating him. Well, let's see what he's got to say here. Let's see the confrontation on this.
Who won the 2020 election?
We're going to go to town.
Could you just answer, did Donald Trump win, yes or no?
Yes.
He did win?
Yep.
So will you concede? Will you concede? If your opponent gets more votes, will you concede?
I really feel bad for you, man.
I just want to know, if your opponent gets more votes, will you concede?
Well, technically that doesn't even matter because Trump could win by losing the popular vote, so it doesn't matter. What he's saying doesn't make sense. What he's saying makes no sense. Will you if you get less votes, will you concede? Isn't that what he said?
I just want to know, if your opponent gets more votes, will you concede?
Yeah, that doesn't matter. If your opponent gets more votes, it's based off the Electoral College. Trump likely will get less votes than Harris. I mean, he could still win the popular vote. We don't know. I'd say it's about like 40% chance. You look at some other things, they'll say 25% chance, but it doesn't matter. The votes, the popular vote doesn't matter. So if I was Jay, I mean, you could just say that doesn't matter, but this is just all crap. So liberals now, they keep doing the same gotcha moment to Republicans where they're like, do you think that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election? And they think it's a gotcha moment, when in reality, it was already admitted by Zuckerberg that the election was manipulated with big tech. I mean, that's admitted by somebody that donated $400 million to the Democrats. Do we have to go get the letter where Zuckerberg admits that they silenced the October surprise because it was negative against Biden and labeled it disinformation when they knew it wasn't? Do we have to go get that? Do we have to dig that up? It's total crap. And then they ambush JD Vance while he's walking in with some dude asking him like, "Oh my God, will you concede if you don't get enough votes?" Well, no, the votes, Trump could lose the popular vote by 2 points and still win very easily with over 300. He lost the popular vote by 2 points in 2016 and got over 300 electoral votes, so it really doesn't matter. And guys, it's very important to understand with the popular vote, this is not what you think it is. They say, "Oh my God, more people are liberal." No, they're just importing a bunch of people and they're turning them Democrat. That's it. It's not like actual natural born citizens. I'm not saying if you come into the country legally and become a citizen, you're not a citizen. But it's not what it seems with the popular vote bullshit, how Republicans can't win it. Yes, because they're importing people and most of them are liberal. And so obviously now the Democrats are going to have an advantage in terms of the popular vote, even though it might change. We'll have to see when it comes to 2024. But the popular vote in general is pretty meaningless. So what he was saying makes no sense. And just the idea that you would come in and berate him and it's like this gotcha moment. Will you admit that Trump lost the 2020 election? Well, yeah, I mean, on paper, I admit Trump lost because it was rigged by big tech. You're right. Will you admit that big tech rigged it? You're not going to admit that, are you? That's what you have to ask him. But no, I'll admit on paper Trump lost because it was rigged. I mean, I'll admit that if they want me to admit it. You've also got this. This came out. This was a little ploy again with James O'Keefe. I don't know. He always gets these guys. It's funny, like, how does the dynamic of this work? Is it like a Tinder date or something with a hot chick and they get the dude to say stuff? Because how do they get him to talk so much about politics? And I mean, I don't know, maybe you're on a first date, you talk about your job and stuff, but this dude was blabbering on about how it was pretty funny. Like he admitted that MSNBC's goal was to get Kamala Harris elected and that their viewers were getting dumber and just the hive mentality. And this happens on both sides, trust me. But it is pretty funny. I mean, this is 11 minutes long, but I'll play a little of it.
He's doing enough to help the Harris campaign.
I mean, they're doing all they can.
Meet Basil Hamden, a writer and producer for MSNBC's weekend show, Iman. Basil also reveals that, quote, what her message of the day is their MSNBC's message of the day.
What have they done to help the Harris campaign?
Amplify her message. What her message of the day is their message of the day.
Hamden revealed that MSNBC is the Democratic Party's mouthpiece and is doing anything to get Kamala elected. Hamden says this news network is indistinguishable from the Democratic Party.
So is MSNBC just like doing whatever it takes to get Kamala elected?
Yes, yes. It hammers home the point that I'm making, that this news network is indistinguishable from the party.
Are they just the Democratic Party's mouthpiece?
Exactly.
MSNBC
The guy, I'm sorry, the guy's just got a weird smile. I was trying. It's just.
is the Democratic Party's mouthpiece.
Yes. Yes.
Basil
Well, I mean, listen, you get it on both sides. Everyone already knew it with MSNBC, but it is kind of funny. Another thing I wanted to look at were the odds in Michigan. Apparently, Michigan right now is trending pretty heavily towards or back to Trump. Let's see if we can find where are the swing states? Swing states. So Michigan is getting closer, and we knew this, and we knew this was going to happen based off the recent polling. Can we update this, please? Fucking piece of shit. Yeah, so take a look at this recent polling. You can see, I mean, Trump's made up a huge amount of ground in Michigan. I didn't realize it was this drastic in the span of a day and a half. I mean, there has been positive news and more positive polling out of Michigan, but I didn't think it was going to be that drastic, where normally you don't see like a 15-point swing that quickly. So Trump's almost at even at this point. I mean, maybe you could argue the past day he's gone back down a little bit, but that's pretty remarkable. 2 days ago, he was down like 25-30%, and now it's almost tied in Michigan. And that's a lot. So a lot of that's based on the polling. A lot of that's also based on just self-correction in Michigan, because you look at the overall polls. If Trump's down by 1 or 2, you compare it to 2016, 2020, the polling era, you would think, or at least surmise that Trump is potentially the favorite in that state. Increases in illegal immigration population in swing states under the Harris-Biden administration. Percent increase since 2021. 400% in, look at that, 700% in Arizona. 700% in Michigan. But they go everywhere, the illegals. They go to New York. They go to California. That's why with the popular vote, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's unfortunately not too surprising there. You've also got this, the Florida voter registration is really remarkable. Is the Florida polling in single digits? Sure, but a quick voter registration reality check. And voter registration isn't gospel, but it is, especially when it swings this drastically, it's pretty crazy. So Trump won the state in 2020 by almost 3.5. Democrats had a very slight voter registration advantage, yet Trump won it by 3.5. Move on to the recent update in August of 2024. Republicans are leading voter registration by almost like 8 to 9 points, almost 8 points. So, I mean, compare that to Trump winning the state in 2020 by 3, yet being down in terms of the voter registration by a point. Now he's up in terms of voter registration, or at least the GOP is up by about 7.5 to 8 points, which would suggest, if you factored that in, maybe like an 11 to 12 point victory in Florida. Now, that's not perfect math. You really can't do that because you can't rely on voter registration data that much. I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying in general, you know, if you factor it all in, if Trump won by 3.5 and he was down by 1 in voter registration, now he's up by 7.5, so he'll probably win by 11 or 12. I don't think it's necessarily going to be like that, but it might be, honestly. Like Florida, Trump might win Florida by 11 or 12 points. I might be too conservative with Trump on Florida saying he's going to win it by around 8. It might be even more than that, even though the polls suggest it's about 6.5. There were a few polls that had it closer. There's a lot of liberals coming out of the woodwork saying Florida's now a swing state. But these voter registration numbers are just remarkable. There's just 0% chance that Harris is going to win Florida. It's just crazy to think Trump won the state by over 3 points while being down in voter registration. Now he's up by 7 points or 8 points in voter registration. And he already won it by 3 points while being down in 2020. So just the math is so crazy there to where it's like, how is he going to lose? It's like impossible. Yet people are still trying to like formulate this narrative to where he possibly could. A lot of it is just talking out of their ass. They're trying to get content, I guess. I don't know. But Florida for sure is going to go to Donald Trump. You've got how about the strike? What did that last, like 2 days or whatever? Yeah, we knew that was going to be quick. By the way, if that strike was happening in 2022, this would probably be like a 2-month long process, with it being this close to the election. And you notice how they suspended it? They literally just suspended it until after the election. Hilarious. Till January 15th, literally the inauguration of the next president, because I think the inauguration is always like January 20th of 2025. So That is funny how, oh, just like that, because we're like, you know, we're so, if it was literally any other time, this would not be happening, but they're suspending it now because it's this close to the election. It's just interesting when you look at that. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.